Try this again. I know the music doesn't come through on Zoom. It'll sound wacky for the people out there, but I just want to play.
All right. Speaking of people you don't want to hang out with, I happened to stumble across this show on YouTube called Insufferable Bastards.
Yeah. All right. Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Insufferable Bastards. My name is Carlos Danger. And I'm joined by my co-host, Mr. Brian Spears. Hello, Brian.
Hello, hello.
So we went live, right, a couple of minutes ago at 4:30 on the dot. It's now 4:55, Sunday, September 18th. Listen, I screwed up. I thought I could share the files in a certain way, and then when I went to share the video, it was totally screwed up. So anyway, this is a do-over. Our one video, we finally got over 100 subscribers, and, trying to capitalize on that. And I failed miserably. But I have 6 clips to play.
Do you want to share the URL?
No, I don't want to do any of that crap. Forget it. I just want to concentrate on because now we're going to get ads. It's going to be a disaster.
Okay.
So I got 6 clips to play. I'll go over what I said in the last thing because I deleted it. It was too embarrassing. I deleted it right away, but it probably exists somewhere. But all right, so yesterday's live stream, we talked about the whole Shuli Stuttering John feud and how it began, according to Shuli. We played a clip from Uncle Rico, which is like a subset of the Shuli show, where he played a clip of Stuttering John complaining about Shuli to Monique. Brian and I theorized that one of the things that probably made Shuli mad all those years ago was that Stuttering John was insinuating, maybe not coming out and quoting himself, but he was insinuating that Shuli was a mole, that any kind of dirt he was getting about the Howard Stern show or its staffers might have been coming from Shuli. So that we listened to that, and what I messed up on that one yesterday, we didn't play the whole clip. So what I wanted to do is basically play the second part of that clip. It's not, you actually get to Stuttering John threatening Shuli, which Shuli has said is the origin. But he's also angry at that time Stuttering John confronted him at the hotel, which I think we talked about as well.
Yes, we've talked about before.
But anyway, and Shuli, by the way, is going to be appearing in Fairfield, Connecticut, Saturday, September 24th. Of course, I've now closed the page. I think it's Fairfield Comedy Club.
Yes.
Brian and I could theoretically get tickets and go.
Theoretically, yes.
You're still on the Shuli. You're like the YouTube commenters. We
yes.
have like 3 comments.
Yes.
People are like, Shuli's a hack.
Yes.
Leave me alone. Uncle Rico's awesome. It's hilarious.
Well, is Uncle Rico going?
Well, you're Stuttering John himself?
Yeah.
You threw me off there. What are you talking about? All right, I'm going to shut up and share this. I'm going to share the screen. We got the sound going. We're going over here. So this is a continuation, right?
Yes.
We got some full screen action going.
Julie, how dare you?
You can hear this, right, Brian? He just said,
yes,
Shuli, how dare you? Good.
Julie.
How dare you?
Look, I'm going to look at Julie, I'm looking at you right now. You don't want me to talk about things we've talked about, do you? I don't think so.
I mean, well, actually, now I stand corrected. He says right there that Shuli is his mole, essentially, right? Isn't that what I heard?
Or at least Shuli has said some disparaging things in the past. That he's at least alluding to that.
But based on what we know about Stuttering John now, he's probably completely making this up. And this is what Shuli's contention. You believe him, though. So you're still of the whole... You're like the one guy who still
I'm not saying
turned on Stuttering John.
I don't even think it was a leak thing. Do I think those guys complained? Every one of those guys in the back office complained? Yes. And I'm sure it went through like telephone, friends of friends and friends. And I'm sure somebody definitely told John something. Do I think they talked face to face? Probably not.
Or on the phone. I don't think they talked at all.
But
you're whitewashing it, though. You're watering it down. He's saying right here that this sounds like a bold-faced lie, that Shuli was talking to him a lot.
Don't ever get in my fucking way. Don't mess with my guest.
Get a screenshot of that.
Boom!
Boom! Yeah, you're right, Ryan. Busted. I sent an important text to speech impediment man. In his show.
So now, obviously, Shuli knows John knows you've been doing this for a while now, and yet, so you were in his face. You did go where he didn't want you to go, and yet nothing's come out.
Oh, but wait a second, Mike Morse. Oh, actually, no, still nothing's come out. But like yesterday or the day before, Stuttering John fired back. Finally, addressed Shuli directly.
I am going to say I might be going over to Shuli's side just because behind Stuttering John, was that like
I don't know.
There was 2 Star Wars posters, and one of them was like that, the first of the remakes. That's what it looked like.
With a young, I think it is. It's from
a young Anakin.
Yeah, the
like
Phantom Menace,
the Jake Lloyd one or whatever.
And in his shadow is Darth Vader, I believe.
So I might believe that maybe John was lying. So like I might be able to be swayed to that now that I see that poster behind his head.
So the next clip I'm going to play was posted in Dabblers Anonymous, which is like it's like the paper of record for the Stuttering John show and everything in the Stuttering John world. So, and this is again, what we're going to do is play the entire clip. It's just about a minute long.
Okay.
And then we'll go back and watch Shuli's reaction to it. Maybe we'll play the thing twice if that's okay with you.
Yeah.
Clip is entitled Uncle Rico Being Uncle Rico. You seen it?
Yes, I'm seeing this. Uncle Rico being Uncle Rico.
On this loser, I won't even mention his name. He was on the Stern Show, okay? But
where is your screen? Like you're always like, where's your screen? Like around the corner or something? It's like blocked.
It's like stuff? Right there.
Okay,
right?
Just wondering.
Only because he was a caller.
No,
shorty one. This loser, I won't even mention his name. He was on the Stern
Stuttering John, of course, got a haircut, shaved, dyed his hair again. He's looking good, looking better than me.
Show, okay? But only because he was a caller on the Stern Show. Okay, but only because he was a caller. And his only job was to handle whackbackers. So let me just say this to this little...
Dude, he sounds like you. Those are all the complaints you've made. I should just shut up and let him play. But it sounds like I'm talking to you.
Yeah, well, I mean...
ran away from me when I tried to interview him. This little coward with his backpack on. He looked like the Cowardly Turtle. Let me just say, dude, okay? I left the Stern Show on my own account to go be a staff writer and announcer on the greatest TV show on earth, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Okay?
Yeah, that's. I mean,
but how you've fallen? I mean, all right, you could argue he's the only one to ever leave.
He was the most successful post Stern guy. Yes. Absolutely. So by the grace of God, it still
was like, how did that happen? But then his post Tonight Show,
greatest ascension, greatest descension.
Yeah. Also, and then
I mean, but to say that, come on, Letterman was on at the time.
Well, I don't think
shows
Jay
are terrible now.
But now, in John's defense, all along he's never liked Letterman. So he always was like, oh no, I like Leno's better, and all the guys on the show used to make fun of him about that.
Oh, really? Ugh.
Yeah. But can I also say he looks just like Sammy the Bull Gravano now with this new hairdo?
They're always comparing him. Well, Artie compared him to Chapo, El Chapo.
Okay, but now he doesn't look it because he's not. He must have dyed his hair.
You got fired.
Well, the whole talk of the internet this morning was how amped up John is in this video compared to other ones. But wait, you know what? I just stepped on. He's claiming that Shuli got fired.
Fired, yeah.
You got fired. Thank you. Benny Loco, thanks for the $2. Super Chat Saturday. So yes, there's a very big difference. I've been in a lot of movies and TV shows. I've written for several shows. Not you. You're a loser who can't get my name out of your fucking mouth because you're jealous. All
right, now how does that strike you? That's zealous. The F-bomb is weird the way he said that, but
yeah.
What did you think of I thought it was immediately he's making some type of anti-Semitic,
Well, that's what I thought. Is
right?
He trying to, yeah, okay. Like
going after.
I don't think he messed
Jewish.
up the word jealous because I think he knows the word. He means it's something. It's something I don't know
I've
what
never
it means.
heard. Yeah, I've never heard that derogatory reference. But let's see.
Jelly, the Cowardly Turtle, is a little jelly for the smelly.
Although it's so hard to make fun of Stuttering John, considering that we just went live and then had to end it and delete the video and then start over.
Well, we don't know what we're doing.
Yeah, we're on his level.
All right. There we go.
Yeah, it's playing again. So, yeah, that was that. I'll stop that share. So, what's your reaction to that, Brian? That was, I mean, you know, that's what he said, apparently. I don't know if he said more before or after that. It was only the clip I saw.
Again, I
on
mean,
Reddit.
what's so funny is the two of them going at each other. I mean, I'm sure there is a lot of people listening, but it is funny that they're both arguing, and neither one of them are like in a position to be like, "Hey, man, we're so successful."
I think you're not paying attention to Shuli. He is definitely on the rise. Come on, he's doing I guess he's doing Kumia tomorrow. He's coming to Fairfield on Saturday.
All right, I'll see how he does on Kumia.
Yeah, he's making a bunch, he's been on a bunch of podcasts. I think he's got some stuff going on. It's so funny your hatred towards
But I know there was another guy that one of our what do you call those things?
And I baited you anyway because I needed you to kill 5 seconds before I share the next clip. It was my fault anyway.
But I'm sorry. Like, yes, I'm not but it has nothing to do with his comedy. It's about to do with like the way he was on the show.
This next clip is probably going to make there's parts of this that I can predict going to make you mad. This is Shuli now reacting to the clip we just watched.
Also, like, I'll just say this: like, Stuttering John is on my Mount Rushmore of Stern people. And listen, he's fallen. Like,
all right, keep that in mind because it's going to come up. So let me start playing it. Like, what's a scream?
He's ranting and raving about the number of viewers we have on the lives, the number of super chats I'm getting, and so I knew it was just a matter
fucking
of time.
Kill him.
I knew it was just a matter of time before he we have videos that are a day old that get 7,000 views, and he's got videos that have been up for 2 months that aren't even at that number. So,
Nice.
I don't know what to tell you. Start doing a show where you comment on this show. Maybe that'll help. I don't know.
Hey, isn't that what we're doing?
You know what I mean?
Be working.
Yes.
Well, he's saying
we are bottom feeding at its finest.
All right. Well, I get that.
Wait. I should have I messed up again. He's getting to it. He's getting to it.
Oh, that's a Bob Levy.
Yeah, Levy's there. Yep, wearing an Oasis shirt, and Mike Morris has a Foo Fighters shirt on. Guys are older than us, but they like music that came out at the tail end of grunge.
You have the one where he declares himself the sun. Do you have that one, Iso? Because that's
I'm gonna go ahead a
The
little.
sun?
Yeah, he said it on his show.
Well, guess what? I'm the sun.
He's the sun. There you go. So this is him talking about me and the show, and but it is the other thing I love that he does is he goes, I'm not going to mention this person's name, but then he mentions all these things that pretty much you know who he's talking about without having to say the name.
He describes it to a T. Yeah.
All right, let me try to figure out when the point comes where I figure it out.
All right.
That was the producer's voice, by the way.
Yeah.
I know, Shorty one. This loser, I won't even mention his name. He was on the Stern Show, okay? But only because he was a caller. And his only job was to handle whackbackers. So let me just say this to this little person who ran away from me when I tried to interview him.
By the way, I haven't legit ran in about 17 years. Like for real running, like either somebody's chasing me or I'm late for a flight, maybe 17 years.
So he's ragging on you for starting out as a caller. He was an intern.
He put me on hold when I called you.
I was just going to say that. What was his job? Like what?
I got just as much airtime as he did, sometimes more in a week. And I was a caller, and I came up with my own material. And listen, let's not belittle the guy. He also did Howard's lunch.
Right, that's true.
He also cleaned up around the offices.
Mm-hmm.
He charged other interns rent for living in apartments. He had a lot going on.
Wait, so he heated up a potato too?
Well, until he fucked it up, and then it became Grillo's job.
Right. Listen, it's not easy.
They literally had to take things away from him, like the simplest thing.
That's pretty cool.
I know. He broke his ass sitting on a copy machine. That's the kind of work he's doing. All right, here we go.
Now I'm interested, Brian, because Shuli goes after Stuttering John's legacy on the Howard Stern show. What did you think of that? Did he totally? Is it accurate, or is he undermining it?
Do
or
I
is
think he has
underplaying it?
Everything he said, it was totally true, but that doesn't take away any of him pranking Gary all the time, him instigating everything in the studio.
Right. Yeah, you can't. I mean, you can hate Stuttering John all you want today, but
he
can't
never
take
had to
away the
work.
fact that he was like the top shit stirrer on there.
He
was
did
the
not
one.
have to do anything on that show because he stuttered, and that's all he had to do, and ask dumb questions.
And he was the gossip. He was the gossip. He was the office gossip, and a lot of that drama would go on air. And I think that office stuff that John was generating was better any day of the week.
Any day
back
of the
in the
week
day
than
than like
bit.
having a porn star on.
Yes,
like,
I totally agree with you. Yes, I totally agree.
Or Donald Trump on for the 13,000th time.
But the other thing that like he didn't have to do all that stuff, and if anything he screwed up in the office made it better for the air. Like him,
I think
being a landlord to Grillo and Ganji might have been one of the greatest shows.
We mentioned
ever,
that. Yeah, you mentioned that
ever.
yesterday. Yeah. So
Listen,
I think Shuli's he's
the way
cutting them at the
Shuli's
knees.
downplaying it is the way I feel about Shuli. Like, listen, I mean, because I remember Gary going off on him on one of the not long before he left, on how he's a nudge and all this other like stuff like really hit the fan where it came out about Shuli on air.
Was it scripted though? Like now at this point, I ask what's real.
No, because I think
isn't?
there was definitely feelings hurt. Yeah, because
let's see
Shuli,
here.
that's the other thing. Shuli would get angry. Like he can give it out, but he can't take it. And which both these guys are very similar in that manner. They're both guys that like to make fun and instigate things, but when it's back on them, they get really hit back.
Shuli is now going to react to this and tear you a new one. You're making me nervous.
Let him. I welcome it, and I hope he comes on. I debate him anytime that he wants.
What? Come on!
I'll see you on the 24th.
Jeez, you're so anti-Shuli.
I'm not. No, I'm just.
All right, let's Stuttering John talk.
Coward with his backpack on. He looked like the Cowardly Turtle.
You remember that?
Cowardly Turtle.
Oh yeah.
Wait, who's the Cowardly Turtle? Like, where is this from? What is this from? A Cowardly
Dorothy.
Turtle?
I want to come out of my shell.
It's from a movie John remembers seeing called The Wizard of Whippets.
I can't take my eyes off
He doesn't
Bob
even know what
Levy.
he's saying. He's so angry.
Let me just say, dude, okay? I left the Stern Show on my own account to go be a staff writer and announcer on the greatest TV show on earth, The Tonight Show.
That
With
Howard
Jay
in the
Leno.
back. Yeah.
Oh, well, hold on. He's making it sound like he left and then landed this job.
Right.
The only reason you left, John, is because these people fucked up and thought you wrote these questions that you asked on the red carpet. You conned them. You grifted them. Just like you do with people with chemo, just like you do throughout your whole life, leaving your motorcycle at somebody's place, all these little fucking cons you play. And you did one here, and you got Jay Leno to buy into the fact that you're talented.
Because this is coming out because Shuli and maybe who are these podcasts as well, Mike Walker, National Enquirer, wrote a book.
Okay.
And in that book, he said that Jay Leno got really mad at his staff and management, whoever brought in Stuttering John, because Jay Leno was under the impression that he was a writer, a comedy writer, and was that type of contributor to Stern. I don't know. I don't know how much I believe.
Again, I don't know how much.
I don't know if you can blame Stuttering John. I don't know if Stuttering John.
And again, I was just going to say he got the job. Who cares how he got it? If he conned them to get one of the great, like a stutterer getting a job,
that's on them. Yeah,
that's on them.
Right, because how could everybody who listened to the Stern show in those days, and
think
there were
his
millions of
writers.
us in those days, and we all knew how insane it was for Stuttering John to get that job. How could NBC not know that?
Yeah, so I don't necessarily and I can't fault the guy for and he left the show having a job. It's not, hey, that's the way to leave. He also did that other.
Wait, this comes.
I'm a superhero.
I'm a celebrity. Get me out of here on ABC, which has got to be one of the worst. I don't even. That's you can't. Is that available anywhere other than YouTube?
I have no idea. But
God, I watched that. That was oof.
He got to be a guest on that.
All right, let's hear the rest.
And that's why you left the show.
You're right.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here. I'm going to support John because we all heard the audition tape. I mean, how could Jay not?
Wait, I didn't hear the audition tape.
Levy's been in a coma.
Yeah, he
Right, that was
recorded a
funny.
demo with Scott the engineer. This is how dumb this guy is. He recorded a demo with Scott
Pamela
the engineer
Anderson.
and thought Scott would keep it under wraps and not fucking tell Howard. And we told Howard, and they played it on the air.
But
and
again,
he's
everything
literally
Shuli's saying, when I hear it back about John, it makes me laugh.
That was
'Cause, like,
golden era. Yeah, it was the glory days at the Stern Show. That whole thing. Yeah.
You know,
There's a whole thing
Pamela
where
Anderson.
he goes on
He's calling her
comedy.
But I guess I'm arguing against myself here. But the thing about Stuttering John is that Stuttering John sees none of that. There's no self-awareness. He thinks. I mean,
Well, again, it is
I almost
funny
hate
that
to bash
two of
the
these
guy 'cause
guys
it's-
are arguing, and they're two guys that shouldn't argue.
But wait, Stuttering
credentials.
John though, you can't compare. I mean, the talent levels here are not equal. I mean, Shuli is much more talented than Stuttering John. Come on. In terms of just the
not
way
on
he's
air, not on air.
What are you talking about? He's literally on air right now. You can compare the two of them.
Well, all right, this is the Stuttering John. This is the
You're
John
talking as
that should
when
be
he was on
taken
the Stern
outside
Show.
and shot. Yes,
But the thing about Stuttering John, though, he looks back when he reflects on those Stern Show days. He's got this insane ego about it. Like he was, he was Jackie.
I
Like he
think
puts
that
himself at
Coors
that
Light
level.
rotted his brain. I'm not arguing any of that. Like the thing is, the minute he left the show, it was over for him.
He was gone, right?
Yeah. But
you could argue the minute Shuli left the show, he's risen.
You're telling. Well, all right, you're telling me. Yes, you're telling me he's doing much better, which that's good. But I'm just saying, John. Listen, I get everyone making fun of John now. I just wish John would shut his mouth and go away.
Right.
Or accept that he was part of history then, but like try not to take so much credit for it. Like,
Or just be a little self-aware.
Yeah.
Like, yeah, you were
Or
the
a little
bits that
modest
that
about it.
Shuli's talking about right now are some of the funniest things in the
that's all
history
I'm
of
gonna
radio.
say. So like you can't say like again,
But it
and I
wasn't
understand.
Stuttering John like being a creative person necessarily.
But it would have only worked with
Stuttering John being Stuttering John. Yeah,
Yes.
it was just him. He was an original radio personality.
Pamela,
not a MSNBC Young Turks political commentator.
Yes.
Oh, like as the announcer, and then he goes to introduce Nicolas Cage and says the N-word as he's trying to say Nicholas.
So
And-
that's where that clip came from on the
Yeah.
show with the audition. I had no idea. I just remember that clip.
How high was Bob Levy?
Jeez, man, is he serious?
He lost a decade there.
So that was
It literally is. Hey, for the Tonight Show. Welcomes. Like, how do you not listen to the whole clip?
But now it's John drunk history with John Melendez. And now it's like I left. But wait a minute, how's that there? Okay, hold on. I want to hear what he's got to say about how I left.
Be a staff writer and announcer on the greatest TV show on earth, The Tonight Show with Jay.
Oh, and I just say we were corrected. I said yesterday that Stuttering John was the co-host of the Tonight Show. That's not true.
Yeah, he was.
You got fired.
Oh, wait a minute.
Get that face before we do anything.
Yeah. Wait a minute. I recall.
Yeah, John should not be on screen.
Get that one too. I recall.
Well, yeah, it is interesting. Like, I mean, I got my lights turned down low. I'm trying to hide my chins. From
Yeah,
this
we know
giant
what we're doing a little
microphone.
bit. We know what we're doing. We know how to like make us.
I'm not standing up. I don't have the camera up here looking down. It's not up my nostrils. He doesn't seem to have any of that awareness.
No, and like there's so much, and like he makes weird faces. I mean,
A guy by the
I think some of that can't be helped. I think that's just part of the whole stuttering thing. I would think.
Yeah.
You know?
But
It's
I mean,
almost
I
like a
just think it's
Tourette-like
hilarious. Like he's not the guy that should be like complaining about other people. That's all I'm saying.
of Stuttering John, who got very upset at a show for saying that he was fired from a Stephanie Miller show that he used to work on for a little bit, and threatened to sue and what is it, slander and libel and all this other shit. And now here you are, John, you didn't say allegedly,
right?
You didn't say I heard from someone. No, your exact comment was that I got fired. Huh? Let's hear that again.
The greatest TV show on earth, The Tonight Show with Jay Leno. Okay? You got fired. Thank you.
You know what's coming. That's right. I am Shuli, and I will sue him. Thank you. Cease and desist. That's right.
Hey, that's the guy whose video we played yesterday. Chico Ruizing.
Funny. He's like, this is what.
All right, I don't want to play his whole. I'm starting to feel like even more hacky than we are, so I'm going to stop sharing that. But I just, I find this all fascinating because, like we've said, we both grew up listening to Howard Stern. It was a huge part of our childhood. That Channel 9 show.
That Channel 9 show.
8th grade or 9th grade or whatever grade we were in, that was
10th grade.
Huge. I always remember from like before that. But, so to see these two going at it like this, it's just interesting because it's a throwback to the old days of the Stern Show because you can't get it from the Stern Show anymore.
That's the other thing. I don't mind the argument. And that's where I do think these two guys are very like, if one of them could see, if they'd make a good show together. If they got over whatever their beef was, I think if they were like,
I think
they're just so similar. Well, again, I think they're both boasters. I'm not saying Shuli,
I can't. I don't know.
I think some of his stories are stories too.
All right, so here is now. I guess everyone's seen this, but Stuttering John, when he confronted Shuli, this was sort of the apex of the Stuttering John podcast, which has had several incarnations over the years. So this was only posted earlier this year, but it's from, I don't know when exactly it's from.
I think it's when they went to LA. Like they've only been to LA a few times.
But that's going back a ways, right?
Not as long as you think.
Okay, here it is.
Coined the phrase jump the shark. Now works for the show that jumped the shark. Come on, Shuli.
Can't get the quality any higher.
What are you more afraid of? Like walking down Howard's hallway or watching Baba Booey eat shrimp?
And has Stuttering John ever explained why the quality of this is so bad? Like, this was his chance to make a splash.
Yeah, he's like,
I'm just curious.
It's like something I shot.
Shuli, come on, talk to me. I'm your buddy. What, have you been told not to talk to me?
I get security to get this guy away from me.
No, you can't get security.
John sounds a little tipsy, huh?
Can you get security? Shuli, you want to get security from me? I'm your friend.
Yeah, there's something weird with the audio too. But I kind of remember that's how it was when he uploaded it. It wasn't like it's distorted by anybody else.
Shuli, I'll buy you a beer. Come on. Oh, man. What a shame. Shuli Iga has asked me. And
there's a commercial. But, so that's the famous confrontation, which I guess was the other ground zero.
Which I do think John was in the wrong on that one.
It was,
he knows.
Well, listen, at the time when he first uploaded it, I was like, "Oh, this is great."
I totally watched that. It's but I do think he knows that no one's allowed to talk to him, and he's like kind of deliberately following the one guy.
Well, that's what I want to ask Shuli. Ask Shuli. Sorry, I'd like to know how much that, or any of this, impacted his job, if any, with Stern at the time. All those shenanigans that Stuttering John was doing. Stuttering John was vicious in that era. Before he became like a political commentator, he was for a long time just bashing everybody on the Stern Show. So saying that somebody was cheating on their wives.
Exactly.
Yeah, all that stuff. And again, he was heavily insinuating that Shuli was his source. He just had something the other day claiming he has a source. But now I'm like, at the time I was believing Stuttering John. You know what I mean? I didn't realize.
Well, again,
hindsight being
and that's
20/20.
I might be coming from that camp as well, and I know there's other people they've rumored that it has been.
So Shuli went on after that. This is from the Miserable Men Show podcast, where he was interviewed by, I guess, one of the I don't know who this guy is interviewing him, but he sort of talks about, the guy asked him, "Did you think you were going to get fired?" And here's what Shuli has to say. If I can share my screen again.
All right, nothing. Oh, there we go.
See it?
Yep.
Let me know if you can hear it.
Proof that it went any
You got it?
other way. Then my other thought was I wasn't worried that I was going to get fired. because it's not like I invited him down to do an interview with me. The guy, ambushed me, or as he's like to say, japped me. And so my initial reaction was like, I don't want to give him this. He needs this, right? This is, nobody else is interacting with him, and he's trying to push my buttons to get me to react, and I'm like, it's not going to happen. So it was more about me, not my job. There's nothing that I would have been responsible for, because if they were to call me in and say, why the fuck are you talking to him? I could say, watch the tape. The guy bum rushed me, puts me on camera. I'm entitled to talk shit and defend myself if I want to, but I just thought for him, he would benefit so much more if I danced
That's
with
the guy.
him.
I don't know who it is.
If I responded, if I interacted.
You know who that is? Is that a guy from
No.
the Miserable? I guess I haven't listened to Miserable Men since they were
I'd have to hear his voice.
Serious, but
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, so that was Shuli talking about that. And I swear at that era of Shuli, when he was first freed from the Howard Stern show, he was a little more guarded. Like now on that Uncle Rico show, he's totally laid back, and I think has really come into his own. People are going to kill, believe me, as much as I'm like arguing with you about your hatred for Shuli, if anybody sees this, all the comments will be that I'm an idiot for liking Shuli.
Well, I mean, they're right.
That's what they've been so far.
And again, I'm not, I want to stress this. It's not his comedy. It's like, so I'm not picking on his comedy at all.
It's just who he is as a human being.
Yeah.
You have
well, it's like all
right, but here,
how about this?
this
It's
is
the character he was on the show.
This is something you brought up kind of earlier in this show, and then once before when we were talking about the Stern show days. I mean, by the way, this is primarily a movie review, TV review podcast. We talk about movies. Brian's a special effects makeup artist. I'm a local small town news reporter. But I don't know. I've just been obsessed the last couple of weeks with this whole drama.
You interviewed Artie Lange.
Oh, yeah.
You've had, we've always crossed.
But no, I'm just explaining to people like we don't always talk about this.
No,
and
I was going to say
we probably
we're not
won't again.
aficionados on the Stern show either. We're just casual listeners.
Yeah, it's just something going on, and I figured out how to share the screen. All right, so you had complained that, well, I mean, Shuli gives it out but can't take it, and this is kind of that famous clip of when Artie called him or put him in
the hack pack
as one of the hack packs that you brought up previously.
With him, and that's great. And we all bust each other's balls behind the scenes, but when he's on the air and stuff, he takes shots at us, and it's like, this is, we're doing a comedy tour. It's like you're sitting there saying that basically we suck.
No, you're trying to sell tickets. I don't know if I said that. I mean, you work with me all the time. Why would I put you on the show if I think you suck?
Well, that's what I was asking myself when I heard you make that comment
then you
yesterday.
might come to the conclusion that I'm joking around.
But why do you have to do it on the air all the time, man?
I'm
sorry.
But
no, it's the same thing with Wheatley a couple weeks ago. You said the same exact thing about him.
The hack pack was a new thing. I thought that was funny.
Whatever, it's funny. It's funny when it's
if
us
I said it off the air, it would seem a little more serious, don't you think? I mean, on the air, I'm breaking your job.
I think there's many a truth said in jest. I think you think they're a little bit hacky.
No, I don't. Shuli works with me all the time.
Artie's come up to me personally and said, he really likes when I host his shows. He wants me to host.
And how do I show that? By hiring you quite a bit.
I understand that, but then you come around and you say that on the air. It's mixed messages. It's mixed signals, Artie.
Okay, I'm very sorry. I didn't know I had another girlfriend. I'm sending mixed signals to.
It's not a girlfriend. It's just some.
All right, so that was. I mean,
man, Artie's whacked out of his mind in that clip too. So.
Yeah, you get a little. I miss. I mean, I haven't listened to Stern in forever, but the way. Shuli's complaining, and then the way Stern capitalizes on that by Artie, you did kind of say that. I think there's some truth in comedy, but that was good. I'd like to hear Shuli's thoughts on that now. That's just got to be a strange situation to be in, that pressure cooker,
and also
being manipulated and all that good stuff. And
that is
now the tables have turned. Now, Stuttering John is the Shuli. And Shuli's become the new Artie, at least in this scenario. I'm not saying, Artie Lange there's only one Artie Lange, obviously. But that's really it. I just wanted to go through those clips really to cap off what we started to talk about yesterday. And since there were new developments, I just thought we would continue the conversation for a couple of minutes. And
it's interesting.
It's funny, right? So,
yeah, I think it's totally funny. I do think it was fun to go back down. And then them making fun of Stuttering John is hilarious.
God bless you, Stuttering John. Get well.
Shalom biatch.